Evening, folks. How are we doing tonight? Welcome to the stream. Hope we're doing well this evening. On tonight's stream, we are going to be going through and adding our brand new motion path based point on curve system to all of my modules. Things for creating spines and things like that. Should be fairly interesting, I hope. Hopefully it all works. We will soon find out. I think the first thing, so if we go over here in Python, I've got all of my different point on curve classes laid out. So I think the best thing to do is probably just dive into my module C, where I've started setting up some new spines and things like that previously, and just start integrating them in. I think that's probably the best way to go. Just sort of test them on the fly, see how that all goes. Because I gotta remember where everything sort of sits. Because I'm pretty sure spine curve, I believe in here I built a point on curve system somewhere. Point on curve dictionary, yeah. So we just find our new one and sort of hot swap it out. Replace anything that may already exist with new stuff and make sure it all hopefully works. Cool. Let's start integrating that now. So first thing, let us find where our new, so we've got point on curves B, which we'll need to import. Do I not have point on curve? Oh yeah, here we go, point on curves, the original ones there. So let's import B. And let's reload that as well, just in case we do any updates today. And from that, so in this case with the spine, we want this to be points on curve B uniform lock. Because we don't need parametric for this one. We may want to add a separate module for that somewhere. But in this case, we only need it to be locked to either the start and the end with push out and only uniform stuff. Parametric stuff isn't really going to be playing into this this kind of module. So let's copy all this stuff and create a new dictionary. Just steal that one. Honestly, it might be pretty similar to the one we had before. I guess we'll find out. Back up. Sorry, back up to that. I should be wearing my wrist brace, but it makes it a little bit difficult going through all this stuff, so I think I'm going to avoid it for the time being. Okay, so we got prefix string. That we can take. Point curve, uniform lock, that's fine. Base curve and up. And parent, yep, so we can take those. Copy those over. Number of transforms. Oh yeah, because I can specify the reference transforms. I don't have to specify the U values anymore. Got in the definition. What are the ones that I want to set up? Well, first of all, let's take this and change that to that one. Change that to B. So we got that all ready to go. So in vector, up vector is fine. Do push out, we want that to be true. Compress start, yes please. Actually, do we need compress start for a spine module? Not really, let's leave that as false. We do want it to be locked to the start and end, but only the push out is going to be okay. that's all going to be that's needed, so get rid of that. And this one's going to be base transforms. And we can update this reference to be, I think, hopefully base transforms too. And hopefully that only changes it in a few instances. No, it actually changes it in a few, but that's alright. We can go see what damage that does afterwards. Reference transforms. Now I said it's gotten in the definition. Put point on curve. Curve reference joints. So I think I can go in here now. So let's specify that. Down to that. Oops. Update the build. Yep, that's gonna update. Cool. Final output needs to have rotate constraint to last control. I think that's okay. And everything builds as such. So I need something simple I can test that against. Curve reference joints. Which I believe I could probably do that if I just grab a spine from somewhere. Let me just quickly... Oops, I should probably... Let's show this on this side. Human... Let's grab some joints from our old human. We can always strip a bunch of stuff out. I guess because we'll be doing a spine first. Yeah. About yay. Yep. So we want 1, 2, 3, 4. About to there. Put this over here. Let's get a new Python tab. Wow, I don't actually have anything set up for this. As per usual. What about in the builds for B? I think I can quickly rip. And Q. C. To C. Used to be dictionary. Specify that for our point and curves, and we got the spine curve layer. Plug the dictionary into that, and execute the build. So we're just setting this up in PyCharm so I can quickly pull it into Maya, and I don't have to do this all manually. In the much lousier script editor, I can edit multiple lines way easier in PyCharm. So let's keep doing that. Alright, so we got NM group. Let's call this spine A. I mean, this isn't going to be really hugely important just yet, I don't think. One thing I need to check is to make sure that my actual, like, curve reference closest point finding stuff is all still good, because I haven't checked that in a while, so might be broken. Let's print this as a Python list. So I can quickly copy that to here. Push that in. Oops. Back one. Control scale value, upper vector, this is all fine. Yeah, let's see how this goes. If it does indeed go. Does he go, mate? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Spine curve layer not defined, because I didn't specify you. No object matches name, spine. Oh man, this is going to be a whole thing. Okay, no, I shouldn't have done it that way. I I should just do it through the damn spine. Much easier. Okay. Ho-hum, ho-hum. Because this is going to be a whole thing. So... Whole spine curve layer.
Why would they come to our concert just to boo us?
Thank you very much for the follow, Digitarts? Ooh. Digit Arts or Digitarts? One or the other. Perhaps you can let me know how to properly pronounce it. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for following. If you'd like to introduce yourself, go ahead. Always love hearing where people come from to find the stream. If they're riggers or animators or whatnot. Boo, 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 boo. Okay, so spine curve layer. That's all good. Builds it there. Build spine curve to start. Output space constraints. That should be fine. Middle space constraint. Digit Arts, just a modeler trying to get better at rigging. Well, you've come to a place where we do a lot of rigging here, so hopefully this is somewhat helpful, although all the stuff right now is, it's all script-based, so maybe not so much, I'm not sure. What kind of stuff do you rig, Digit Arts? Humans, bit of everything, whatever comes your way sort of stuff? I do wanna... I think for the time being, let's not do the copy attributes. Oh yes, these constraints need to drive the curve stuff. That's correct. Wait, does it not build? Curve start reference joints. Does this not build curves? It does. But it's not building the curves. Why? Get closest point. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. So this is what I was talking about being an issue, and probably why I had this set up. I can't find a closest point on a curve which doesn't exist yet because it hasn't been created. Ho-hum. So we do need to specify that. Okie dokie. Well, I know I don't have to build the spine joint. Spine module right away. We can keep doing the spine curve. We just need to structure this a little bit better. So let's do that as none. U values. Let's do that as get in definition because curve doesn't exist when this is run. Humans to bring to Marvelous Designer, then back to ZBrush, playing around with creating animation turntable, animatables assets for future. Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, the Marvelous Designer is a really, really good piece of software just for creating pieces of clothing super quickly. It's got great applications in rigging as well. Especially if you like use a low res enough sort of like cage for everything, you can use that to transfer skinning and stuff. It's so good. Plus everything is made like properly, right? You use seams and things like that to stitch it all together and everything. Because logically, if something is made and like modeled correctly, it just makes things easier for rigging because we can just rig it correctly as well. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Marvelous Designer, although I've never tried it myself. I've just watched people do it and marveled at them, as it were. What do we do in here? Let's undo all that stuff. Base curve. This is the new one. Points on curve dictionary, U values. We can update that there. Cool. Okay. Hey Marin, how you doing? How goes your job search, Marin? Managed to find anything just yet? So if I go to motion parts, because I've got a new, oh, I need to rename these as well, because I've just get uniform U values new. I need to find better names for these. So these ones, we want them to be... Oh, okay, hold on, let's figure this out. Let's go back there. Okay, closest point, E on U. Get closest point, okay, that's uniform, yeah, okay. Yeah, I definitely want to rename these at some point. So let's do U values equals motion paths. Get closest point. Damn it. Let's just undo the U. I'm doing all right. I'm still waiting on a call for an interview. Oh, is that a call that's coming today? Or they said they're going to call you at some point and you're figuring out when that's going to be? That sounds cool though. Place you'd be quite excited to work for? Base curve. Do parametric. No. Let's see if this goes through. Still no. Oh. I may have this set up so it automatically finds it. Number of transforms. Base curve. Oh, because it doesn't exist. Hokely dokely. I have to remember how all of this works. Damn it. Okay. If U values equals that. If reference, if not U values. Damn. Yeah, this is why I shouldn't have set it up this way. Is there a way I can fake it for now? Because how do I want to change that? Let's do that, see if we can get that to just execute. Got an unexpected keyword argument, POC, point on curve string. Is that so? Where is that coming from? Oh, is Wait, no, that should be fine. POC string. That's B. Oh, you know what I've done? That's the wrong one, because I undid that. Silly. There we go. Refactoring code. Don't you just love it, folks? It's working, I think. Let's bump up this control scale. So that's like the middle part. This is the tangency for the upper portion. That's the tangency for the lower portion. That all seems to be working. Cool. Mistake on my side. I mean, I've been sending some applications and waiting to see. Got news from the mistake on my side. I mean, I'm waiting to get news from. Oh yes, yes, yes. So they're going to let you know when things are going to happen, or something along those lines, soon. But yeah, nothing's locked in just yet? You haven't got an exact date, just trying to figure that out. Is that the sort of idea? So we got this. Yeah, now would be the time to do the spine. Yeah, something along that. Oh, cool, cool. Yeah, waiting is always the most annoying part for interviews. I'm just like, oh, can't we just get it out of the way nice and early? Don't have to wait a few days or something. Just like, churn and burn. But people with schedules, ugh. Okay. Do compression scale. What did I set that up as? Oh, some of these are going to be new, aren't they? Build compression scale. Oh, yep. I remember I was starting to add in compression, squash and stretch for the joints. That's what it is. Don't need to worry about that yet, but that's something I have to come back to. Man, I've got so many things sort of in progress in these modules that I need to remember. Do you know if you have to do any tests for the interviews as well, Marin? Or are they just going to be straightforward interviews? No kind of like technical tests or things like that? How do I want to do this? Can I steal this from this dude somewhere? Probably just swipe that. So we go curve up to chest, 3, that's all good. Pelvis is that one. Control scale value, let's do that at 10. Let's do this one at 5. Start, let's just all build that normally. Cycle. Oh yeah, that's just a temporary thing. I need to get rid of that. Where does that come from again? So we got this. Cool. That's working good. So we can rotate that down. In fact, this is like the middle FK one. So we can sort of do it that way. We can pivot the spine. Move the cog. Middle point. Edit the tangency there. Cool, okay. That's working in that part. Now we just need to make sure that the lock position and everything hooks up correctly. No test by now. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad when companies sort of value the inherent skill that they see in people's show reels or portfolios or everything and don't just have them do random tests, you know, actually value the people that they're trying to employ. Welcome, Rehards. How you doing, buddy? Oh, I am doing quite well this evening. I had some classes I was teaching before, so I've already talked for like 2 hours straight today already, so my voice is already a bit hoarse before getting into the stream, but that's how it's going to go for about another week. So, let us see. Now we can set up the copy headers. You got quite sick over the weekend. That's no good. Was it? It wasn't COVID, right? Hopefully not COVID. So Digit Arts, that's teaching online. So I've been, this is very random, but the last few weeks I've been teaching,
I said up in.
Oh, thank you for the resubscribe there again, Rehards. Much appreciated, my friend. Yeah, Digit Arts, I'm doing very last minute, but one of my friends let me know that one of his friends who works at a university, they had lost one of their rigging teachers to sick leave for a few weeks and they needed somebody to fill in last moment. So I am currently doing some very simple rigging teaching for a university in Norway, of all places. So everyone there is waking up at like 9 AM and it's 6 PM my time. So it's quite late in the evening. Well, I mean, early in the evening, but sort of like a late time to work. But it's only for a few hours, which is all right. Jesse FK, welcome, my buddy. It's really interesting, actually, because like this is teaching rigging on like an extremely simplistic level. Like students who haven't really done much rigging before. They've done like laying outs of joints and like rough skinning, but they don't know the concepts of rigging. So I think the first lesson, because like I had an interview just to talk about all this stuff, and then in the evening, that's when that day, that's when I started teaching. So I had like no preparation time. I was just like thrown in the deep end. I'm just like, cool, I'll wing it, easy. But the first class, I'm pretty sure I overwhelmed everybody with like joint-orient information. So like since then, I'm being like, okay, how can I compress everything down to like the most simplistic form of rigging possible? So just like, okay, IK leg, aims for spines and necks, FKs for arms, you know, very basic things, just walking them through all that. So so they can sort of wrap their heads around all the complicated connections, parenting, constraints, things like that. Back to the basics, indeed. It's been good, because most of the time I'm talking like more advanced stuff on here, so yeah, need to figure out how to explain it in a simplified terms again. Oh, fantastic, Jesse, with the new job. Congratulations. How are you enjoying it so far? Everything you ever dreamed of? So we need the not aim input. We don't need that. So we could do input. I don't want this. Input transform. Transform input.
Words of wisdom.
Drop that zero and get with the hero. We could all do with some lovely words of wisdom from Mr. Vanilla Ice himself. So we need to go curve, all spine curve layer module. Points on curve module. And info transform module. Manipulator input something. Input shape. There we go. Thanks very much for stopping by, Digitarts. Hope to see you again soon. We stream every week, so if you're back same time next week, we should be on. It's been nice so far. The weirdest thing has definitely been the amount of time I'm getting to do tasks. Suddenly I'm getting a bunch of time to do things instead of 2 days. Were you going into games, Jesse? Was that yeah, can you remind us of what you were getting into? I do remember you talking about your job. Yeah, I've heard that's normally a big sort of like a big thing that sort of takes getting used to when you come from like going into films to games. Because I had a mate who joined, I think, Gorilla a few months, a year ago, something like that. And he's just like, he has to just get out of the mindset of like, oh, things are going to be due in a few weeks' time. It's like, no, you've got like a lot of time you can work on these things. Just do them right, you know? And you take that time to put in the effort and make everything nice and as good as it can be, essentially. But that sounds awesome, dude. I'm glad you're getting, yeah, some more time to do that. Okay, so we got, oh boy, what did I just close? Okay, this. Input. Oh wait, no, I'm doing come back settings input. We do need you. Let's call this one original input. So stretch blend and lock position. What am I calling these? Let's open, that's controls. Let's go into the hierarchy here. Here's this one. Lock position, start, and stretch blend. Okay, those two. Stretch blend. Well, that's the same one. May as well swap over that name. Thanks guys, yeah, same. The workflow takes some getting used to with everything having to go in engine. Not necessarily a problem, just different. Yeah, it's like a little bit of an adjustment, but give yourself like a few weeks and it'll be like second nature, you know? It's the same with any job, I suppose. Just got to get into the flow of how everything's done there. Sounds really promising though. Yeah, I find myself like now that I've done a few like freelance game jobs, I'm thinking of like everything in game terms, like limited amount of joints. How can I export everything to engine? That's sort of just where my mind is these days, and like setting up my modules to work in that kind of way, if need be. It's been a while since I've done like a non-game engine based rig. Or one that goes into a game engine, I should say. So, original output. Oops, no, it's that one. I do have output shape, yes. Great. And what do we call the output? Stretch value? Oh boy, go back. Stretch value. Okay, let's see if we can build all of those. Talking about game engines, have you guys seen the ML deformer that will come with UE 5.1? I think I've seen like a video on Twitter or something where it sort of like trains based on like linear skinning or something and can sort of fix things around a little bit. It's like some AI thing or something, right? It trains it based on deformations and outputs something that's a bit more cohesive. That's all good. So, if I pull that out, and where is it on the settings? General. Yes, stretch blend works. And lock position, sick. Cool. Where everything I sort of wanted to get working on that spine is good then. Need to do the same thing for the neck, and can maybe look at doing this for a tail. I might do a comprehensive and add a new one with like a parametric thing as well. Yeah, exactly. Most promising thing that you can feed it data yourself as well, so you could potentially run a Ziva sim. Oh, that is sick. So it's sort of like Den Bones. It's what they use at Naughty Dog. So at I think Den Bones was based on some stuff that oh, what's his name? An ex like Naughty Dog. I think he's like a Blizzard guy now. Basically, you're training like joint outputs. Like it adds a bunch of joints to your skeleton with a bunch of skinning information. It like extracts skinning information from deformers. It sort of like trains in it and things like that. So I'm guessing it's sort of like that, but just adds like a Unreal deformer instead. It sort of like uses that way. That stuff is like really sick because like anything to get more complicated deformation in engine is just like, oh, that's game-changing stuff, you know? Like, I think we did, like, on Mortal Kombat, the new one for Goro, we did, like, a muscle sim and, like, a workout for him, and then extracted the workout to various correctives on pose interpolators and everything. So we had, like, I don't know, 200-ish corrective shapes on him. So when we didn't want to run muscle sims, we had like complex blend shape deformation to help improve his overall the look of the character. And it wasn't like the worst process, but it just took a while to like run a sim, extract it manually, or, you know, run a script to extract it all and then input it back into the rig and things like that. If you've just got a solution that can just be trained and automatically do it and just pop it in, especially in engine, it's like, oof, I like that kind of stuff, that's for sure. For me, even a tweet about simulating dual quaternion skin seems wow. Yeah, I mean, honestly, that would be pretty sweet. Like, if you had, like, really cartoony eyes or something, and you could just extract that rotation around with, like, some joints or whatever, and extract that deformation and apply it to a mesh or something, that'd be sweet. What was I doing? Let's go back to doing the other stuff. So, let's do the neck now. Well, actually, I did add in the... Actually, it's in the spine area, spine curve layer, isn't it? I want this to be... So I can't put none in there. Because that automatically extracts it. Actually, if we do in here, if we specify if command object exists self base curve, that will fix it. Let's try that uno mas. Actually, we'll make sure we take that and put it into one of these other ones, because I believe it does something different in here. Yeah. Let's undo all of that. Oh boy. I'm gonna need more tea in a second. Oh wait, I didn't. Oh wait, did I? Damn, yeah, I need to find where that name's coming from. Damn it. Done. Will this allow everything? Yoo-hoo, okay. Just need to find... what was that coming from? It's a temporary aim. Oh boy, that is going to be annoying to locate. Tell you what, I'm going to BRB, I'm going to get more tea, and we'll find this elusive, annoying aim cycle thing. So this is only a temporary thing, but I don't like that coming up in my warnings every single time I build, so I need to remember where I create this temporary thing. Yeah, that's going to be annoying. All right, we'll do that when I come back. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
I'm seeing double here. 4 crusties.
And we are back. I can hear someone like drilling or something in the hallway, or coming from down the hallway. That's a strange thing to do at 10:17 at night, but whatever. Okay, where were we? Oh yes, finding this aim thing. Oh boy. What is going to be the best way to find this? Maybe if I do some classic erroring, we can figure it out. Build reference transforms. Well, let's see. Maybe pop an error here. Let's see if that'll build all the way through without the circle. It will indeed. It's probably coming from the point on curves, I'm gathering. No, it's not. Build output space constraint. Oh, it would come from the output space constraints, wouldn't it? Is that coming from any of that? That's it's the spine curve layer. Oh, that's why. Let's go back to the spine. Well, at least we know it's not coming from the spine curve layer. It's coming from somewhere else. Oh, it's probably from how I'm doing the new settings. Yes, that was it. Here we go. So, target module, transform, target, reference. Why is this creating? It shouldn't be. Unless these have got like the same name or something. Aim, target, up. Target, aim. Yes, that's why. That's an easy fix. God damn it. Let's run that through now. No? Still? Object module. Let's error this so we can see where this is coming from. This is the stuff I try and avoid on stream because it's the most like boring, right? I want to try like having more like useful information than me just like staring at my screen and being like, oh, where's the error coming from? Target there. Why is the... Yeah, it shouldn't be underneath the aim. It should be under the 0. I think that should fix it. Whoop, that seemed to have built without any cycles now. Kaloo-kalay. Yeah, problem solved. Especially the part where you go, no, still? Yeah. I need some kind of like command or emote for that in the chat as well, like bug report or something. That's a good idea, actually. I'll write that down. Bug emote. I need a motion path emote as well, considering how much we use them on the stream. Vanilla Ice just gets all by his lonesome. Okay, so with that fixed, let us actually we can probably. Let's commit these. Checking for base curve exists before trying to get u values from 1. So let's do the same here. Updating. Settings to avoid cycle. New point on curve for working for spine. Just making sure I'm committing one by one, so I'm not committing everything with a huge massive comment. Doing bit by bit. So next up. Oh yeah, I've got my simple net component, which is probably still super complicated. we need to find this layer. And do we need to update that? Start string, end string. That's all going to be the same. But we will need to make sure that if we're building it, start manipulator, that's all fine. We'll just have to go in here and swap these ones out like what we did with the spine. Okay. Oh yeah, because I don't need... okay. I do want... Okay, yeah, we do want this version. So we want original input and settings input. And it is stretch blend. So that's all good, but we don't need the lock position one because it's the neck. It is always locked in position, but we do need it to be locked at the start, so that should be fine. And same thing with the output. I believe it's just going to be the stretch. So let's grab that info. Mosey on down. Oops, bits further. Here we go. Them for manipulated module in. It's Geo. I've started, well, I want to find all the fashion choices that that man wears in that movie. I was looking for his jacket. Like, there's a weird jacket he wears with a bunch of, like, words all over it. There's, like, shitty replicas online, which are, like, absolutely not the same one he wore. They've just got, like, completely different fonts and everything all over it. It's like, who wants that? Unless it's authentic. So we want... yep, that one to that one. I think that should be okay. I'm the type of dude that will nap for 10 minutes in a conversation, come back with the, oh damn, that's crazy, just to get back to that. Do you do that at work, Rihad? One would hope not. Oh yeah, yeah, true. Chilling in bed, watching people stream rigging online. Life is good. So this time we want to do the neck. Let's go back and pull in the joints. Goodbye legs. Actually, well, we can get rid of a lot of stuff. I think we want to go from like the neck. Get rid of them. Well, this is very simple neck, but let's roll with it. Generic human A, we should have the neck set up here. Curve 1 base, that's all good. Let's do this to 10. This one to 5. And we don't need these drivers for the time being. Let's do a test. Hey! It builds. Rotates, rotate down, rotate up. Rotate from the base. Doesn't really take much use of the curvature we got there, but that's all good. Too few joints to really take care of that. Let's test. So right now it can't scale, correct? Nope. But if we select the input, stretch blend, can stretch right to the end. Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so with that done, that's good. That was an easy update for the neck. So, do we have any tail stuff set up yet? Don't think we do in C. That could be a cool thing to do. Arms and legs, necks and spines. Where was tail located? Ooh, the tail's like a completely separate one. So tail makes use of tail curve layer. Oh yeah, because we want to distribute some of the twist along. Reference curves, manipulator reference transform, letters. So what does this build? Does build a control. Root tangency. Man, it's been a while since I've looked at this. I'm actually trying to remember what the hell I did. Oh, I think it just adds everything in. So what does the tail component do? Driver. Oh, okay. It literally just calls that. Okay, everything's being done in that. So this just adds a driver that can drive the root and a settings control to sort of control everything. Is that a waste? No, I guess that makes sense. It is a tail layer, because we may want to layer additional things to drive things afterwards. Maybe. Alright, well we can copy it over in any case. Let's commit that. Updated with new point. Oops, oh boy. Point curve. Let's add that in. At work, we also have that. Actually, my lead told me to finally play the games I've been talking about. Yeah, man, that's one thing I need to do as well. Like, I haven't been watching much or playing much. I need to actually take some time out of my schedule to actually do these things. But I'm normally just so tired, I just don't want to do anything at the end of the day, you know? Ugh. Although I've been watching a bit of Succession recently, so at least I'm watching something. Oops. Curve reference joints. Why is... Wait, why is that not being... Wait, was that? Huh, that's weird. Go. So, let's get that new point on curve stuff. Layer prefix. Ooh, now this one. Which one do we want it to be? Do we want to do... Uniform lock for the time being is probably okay. We can do a separate tail that has parametric, because we don't want it every single instance. I think we just stick with this for now, so... Let's take these... Copy them over. Oh, they're the same anyway. That's fine. Number of transforms. Number of joints. Values. Get the definition. Push out is true. Yeah, cool. All right. Let's see how this is getting referenced. Manipulate reference points. I make 2 point on curves? What? Trying to remember all this old stuff that I did. Boy, this is fun. I believe so. We're probably laying out a bunch of number of controls. E-values got in the definition. Okay, well, we can just update anyway. To the new one, just for the starting point. So, I believe we get rid of these later anyway. Number of... Oh, yeah, okay, this makes sense. Because we've got a different number of controls and a different number of joints. Yes, this does make sense. Oh, we do actually specify in vector, up vector. makes sense. Okay. Get rid of you. So this is now going to be base transforms. Same with you. Base transforms. This is me just changing very small things and having to update all my scripts to accommodate for them. But it's all good in the long run. Alright, let's see how this goes. We will hopefully see some cool stuff being generated for the tail after this, once I've got all the dictionaries set up. Dictionary. This one's gonna be... Yeah. Why you do that? What the dog doing? Add you there. Okay, that's all good. Curve reference joints. What tail can I steal from? That's one of my favorite things to say. If I want something, it's me wanty. I think it's the Simpsons parody of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, if you guys remember that show, if it even still exists. Is that your ultimate response? I believe... Well, I've got two browser UIs. Do I have T-Rex? I think T-Rex has got a big tail. Dude, we used to have a Dutch version of that show. Yeah, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was everywhere. It was like that and, was it like The Weakest Link? I'm pretty sure like every country had their own versions of these ones. Is that tail? Okay, let's leave. Take you. You. Actually. 114. Let's just set up a thing for those. Curve reference joints equals for x in no, let's go for I in 0 range 0 to 15, right? Let's do I yar. They're gonna do what we want. Yep, up to 14. Fantastic. reference joints. We can just specify you there. Let's bump that up to 10. Two constraint joints, true. Number of controls, number of twist joints. Alright, let's give that a college try. I really want to start using this to maybe try and do like cartoony, what do you call them, bendy joints and stuff. This stuff could be really useful for those things as well. Do I not? Oh, fudgy dingling bar. Gotta convert them all. Convert them all. Okay. Non-type is non-scriptable.
Save our seats.
Nope.
Hello. Oh.
Welcome, Cat. How you doing? Are you all safe and home?
Cassie.
Mm-hmm. Cat. At home between Apex games. So back to the grind. You know what you should do in Apex? You should win the game. That's what you should do. Definitely. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to do the tail. This is going to be a whole thing to troubleshoot. Why is it? Have you tried winning? Have you tried winning the games? Son, you tried your best and you failed miserably. The lesson is never try. None type is not scriptable. Oh, we're done with the tea. Man, that tea was cold as well anyway. We're on to water. It's because this. I'm not specifying the U values, am I? I'm a dingus. Was there like a new character added to Apex or something recently? Did I see a bunch of stuff for that? I think I follow people who work on Apex. Something like a new knife or some new slashy thingy. Melee weapon, slashy thingy. You know, same thing. That's what I meant. I can speak good. Hamana, 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 hamana. There is an heirloom for Loba, which is a knife hand. That's what I've seen. Yes, correct. Have you got the heirloom for Loba? Heirloom for Loba is a good name for a band. All will be lost like heirlooms in Lobas. Build reference curves. Aye, aye. Put it as a 2D visa start and end. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come back to this tail shit. This is a bit too weird. What can I show off? I'm only gonna stick around for a little bit more because I've got to go bouldering tomorrow. I think I do anyway. Let me check. Yes, I do have to get up in the morning, so. Yeah, I guess heirloom for Loba is an Apex thing. I have never played Apex Legends. I played Titanfall 2, so I assume they're very, very similar. What was I going to show? Oh, yeah, hold on. Do I have... Okay, well, this is going to be sort of like Nightmare Fuel. But the thing that's on this Nightmare Fuel is quite cool. So let me build this guy. I mean, this isn't really Nightmare Fuel, I suppose. Depends on what you define as Nightmare Fuel. It's just like a weird thing. Like I've done this guy. So he's basically like a bally type character, but with hands instead. Because I wanted to try out this. So is there something that looks a little bit different about this dude compared to some of the other geometries we've got? What is different? Yeah, walk cycle on this guy would sure be something. What is going on here? Do we have 2 skin clusters on this guy? Whoa. We do actually have 2 skin clusters on this guy. So what I can do is I can sort of like rotate him into place. Let's bump that up to dual quaternion so we thicken up this stuff. And then we can use this joint as a little tweaker. So we can pull that all the way out, give him some big muscles, and we can rotate this all around. And that's gonna go with it, although I guess it's flipping out when it hits to that point there. Why does that flip out? Why isn't that being... Oh well. But anyway, what I did is I set up some stuff which allowed me basically to start chaining together skin clusters. So we've got 1 skin cluster, 2 skin cluster, one feeds into the other, feeds into the final geometry. And on the tweak skin cluster, we're feeding in...
I'm seeing double here.
Yeah, exactly.
4 crusties.
We're using the 0 groups attached to the joints above. We're using their parent inverse matrices, I think. Is that what you use? World inverse matrices. Using them to drive the prebind matrices of the skin cluster, which means as long as the actual joints don't move, that skin cluster isn't actually applied. Like, without those prebind matrices, we'd be getting like double transforms and stuff. But because they're implemented... Ooh, actually, that's kind of gnarly. Why does that say gnarly? DQ. Yeah, it's just been... It's a really neat trick that I've been meaning to implement it for a really long time, but I just found I had some times you're like, yeah, you know what? I'm finally going to start chaining them together. So I've got, like, in my core, I can, like... for my rig builds, I've got stuff to load skin clusters to a stack, copy skin clusters to a stack, set parent prebind matrices on skin clusters and things like that. So, I mean, this stuff is only like I mean, you can. It's pretty much limited to characters that are not in-game engines because you can't use 2 skin clusters on top of each other and export that to a game engine. At least I'm pretty sure you can't. I'm assuming you can't. You can certainly not do it with prebind matrices. So, yeah, just something I wanted to add, maybe just a demo for some stuff in the future. But, yeah, that's there. What else? What else is on my list of things that I want to do? With that ML deformer, you could have that perhaps in UE. I'm not sure it would, because technically it's not exactly... It's like deformation you're accessing at a particular point. It's like deformation that's laying dormant. It's never actually applied until you move those joints around. Can I set up something to sort of demo this real quick? Do I have all this stuff set up? Skin clusters. Copy skin clusters as tech. Yeah, this is probably something I could show real quick. Let's duplicate these. Oh boy. A few times. So we can create a simple cube. Our beloved cube. Insert some edge loops. How many we got? Lovely. So if we go 1, 2, 3, skin that. Let's go to a new Python thing. And we got this one. Is this? Where is this? Oh, this desired. Okay, that's good. Ah, where'd you go? Come back. So, what this can do. So by default, like, the idea with joints is, you know, if you grab the 0 group and move that around, all the stuff underneath comes with. So when you set this connect skin cluster influence parents as prebind matrices, so I can specify the skin cluster. Skin cluster 1. Run that. It's going to automatically connect them up. And when you move the 0 group, that means it doesn't come along with it. It's only going to impact the skin cluster when you select the joint and change these attributes itself. So this is really useful for like tweakers, like when you've got like a separate skin cluster on top of another one, which is sort of like a tweaker skin cluster, because these like groups can be rotated around into place, you know, sort of driven by rivets or something like that. And as long as the joint doesn't actually have any translation rotation information, then it's never going to actually deform. So it's like deformation that's like lying in dormant. It's not attached to the skin cluster like all the time sort of thing. It's not always influencing it. It's always it's only influencing when we want to like turn it on and turn it off. However, you could do, like if you had stacked skin clusters, like another way of doing it is like a stacked skin cluster for a face rig. could be cool, kind of useful. Because there's sometimes, like, an animator doesn't always have to use the face rig. And sometimes they're just like, can we just turn off all the deformation for the face rig? And if, like, your face is just part of an existing skin cluster, well, it's like, well, sorry, no, it's part of an existing skin cluster. We can't turn off the deformation. It's just part of it. We could add it in as part of a blend shape, but that's going to slow down the rig. The fastest thing is to keep it as part of a skin cluster. So you could do a face rig skin cluster, like above your body rig cluster, and you can have a connection to the envelope to turn it on and off, and that could potentially help speed up your rig in certain points. Yeah, there's cool things that you can do with it, but yeah, it is somewhat limited to just really working within Maya. Because, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you had your face as like a separate skin cluster or whatever, it would basically be the same kind of deformation as your standard skin cluster, just something you can toggle on and off, really. And it's not actually too difficult to chain things together. Like, I can show you how to do it via the node editor. How do I want to do this? Let's do... do this one. I'm going to call this one, null. Let's offset a little bit. 2, 3. End. Okay, so we're going to use joint 1, 2, 3. We're going to use that to skin cube 1, and null and end to skin p cube 2. So with this, in sort of like a similar fashion, I gotta remember which way does it go. Node editor. Let's open this up. So let's open both of these up. So like in much the similar way you sort of like chain deformers together. We can open up this skin cluster. Find the input, because the input is going to be from input geometry, the original geometry and things like that, the art mesh. So rather than it be the input geometry from the world mesh of the original shape, we can take this skin cluster 1, get that output geometry, and plug that in instead. So now there should be skin cluster 1, skin cluster 2. Let's take a look at that. Skin cluster 1, skin cluster 2. And you should also probably grab that original shape. And is it the out mesh? Plug that into the original geometry. So you're sort of like creating the skin cluster on another one and hot swapping it into another one. So I believe pcube1 should not have that. Still got that there. Where is it coming from? Oh, actually, well, you could just delete that one, I think. And would these still remain? Where'd you go? Hey, where'd you go? Oh, maybe because I did something with the original shape. That's probably why. Well, we can just hide that for the time being. But I think this should mean now, so with the first skin cluster, we can move everything like that. And then with these ones, you know, we can do the same thing. So they're both influencing it. They're both going into it like so. So I got a bunch of scripts that do that automatically. In fact, I should probably just have done that. That would have been easier than doing it manually. Source skin cluster target. This is a short way of doing a blend shape on your geometry and adding a shape that you will skin, right? short way of doing a blend shape on your geometry and adding a shape that you skin. Yeah, Marin, so like, for example, like ways I've done face rigs previously, like you have a separate piece of geometry, you skin all that up, then you blend shape that geometry, like the face geometry, into your body rig, and you know, you can have a face sort of attached that way on a separate skin cluster. The issue with that is active blend shapes are quite slow. So if you get rid of that active blend shape, then you get all the benefits. So having multiple skin clusters stacked on one mesh is actually faster. The only problem is it makes it harder to edit those skin clusters, right? Because Maya's tools don't really understand that you've got two skin clusters attached to something. Like, if we look at it here, it's like it's acting like it's all one skin cluster, and if I start editing these, it's gonna like start confusing it all the hell. way more. So it's something like you sort of have to have some kind of additional system ready to go, so you can edit it like separately, skin it all separately, and then combine them all, like, you know, swap them to a different mesh or something afterwards. Yeah, let's do copy it to stack. That's probably easier. Let me undo all this. Actually, well, okay, let's just recreate them. So, joint 1, 2, 3, we can skin that one. Null end, skin to cube 2. Ah, what was that? Interactive bind skin. Yuck. So we got 1, 2. So with source skin cluster, what do we want? Just skin cluster 1. That's just going to be skin cluster 2 in it. Target transform will be p cube 2. Let's see, will this go correctly? There's no copy skin cluster as stack. Is it not? Oh, 2 stack. Why is that as stack? Out mesh is already connected. Oh, because I just duplicated them. Is that why? It's got the same orig mesh? Out mesh is already connected. So I added it to it. Nope. Cycle. Yeah, what's going on? I think probably because I'm doing this in a way. Let's do a ridge. Have I just set something up? Okay, let's do this again. This one. Do it to that. Let's see if this works. Find that. Find that. Same thing. Ugh. Alright. Want to get rid of those histories before I do it, just so I don't mess the thing up. Skin that. Skin that. So we've got skin cluster 1. We want to go over to that one. Oh, yes. Okay. We want to call this skin cluster 1 on new mesh. I think that's what I was doing. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So now we can hide those, and it's been copied over. We got skin cluster 2 and skin cluster 1 on new mesh. So that goes there. That skins that there. That's pulled. That's pulled. Cool, 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 cool. Yeah, I understand what I was doing before. So let's take a look at how it sort of goes. So we got the output of skin cluster 2. So that was the original one. The output geometry goes into the input geometry of the new skin cluster. And you can use the original shape to plug into the original geometry as well. Because if it's just the same one as the, you know, whatever it's created. So I think in these instances, what I'm doing is I'm like creating a duplicate of this cube, copying the skin cluster from pcube1 to this one, then hooking up that duplicate skin cluster into here, hooking up the original shape and everything, and then deleting that duplicate. So it's like you're creating a copied skin cluster on a duplicate, reconnecting all of those ones using direct connections and connect data and things like that, then delete the duplicate because afterwards you're connecting it into a new mesh and it doesn't need to do those things anymore. So let's see if we can do this manually as well, now that I've got everything down. So pcube1, let's skin that, and pcube2, let's skin that, graph them. Actually, well, can we just graph those two and then make it a bit cleaner? Yeah, cool. So, if we want skin cluster 2 to be above, which I believe we do, above in the deformer stack, so we can take the output geometry of skin cluster 1, plug that into input 1, input 0, input geometry. Cool. And that's all good. So then can we take the output of this one, the out mesh, plug it into the original geometry for this one, and also the input. So that original mesh is no longer needed. We can get rid of pcube1. We've got skin cluster 1, skin cluster 2. That manipulates it, that manipulates it, that manipulates it, that manipulates it. Boom. So I haven't done this experimentation in too much detail. I'm assuming this all works pretty good. I've used this sort of technique at studios before, but I can't remember actually going into the skin cluster stack and seeing what all the connections were. So this is my initial test that I've done with it, and I'm assuming this is all how it works. I don't think I've missed any steps. But yeah, it's just a cool way. You can just sort of like chain your skin clusters together in a way Maya just sort of doesn't normally let you do through all the standard tools. Allows you to have multiple skin clusters. So for example, like I said, you know, we've got skin cluster 1 being influenced by these joints. If I didn't want that anymore, you know, I can just toggle it off, and all of a sudden, you know, that skin cluster doesn't impact it anymore. And this is lightning fast as well. This is what I use to set up the face rig structure on Lyle in Lyle Crocodile, which is a movie that's just come out in America anyway. And he had a really, really fast face setup because of it. So we had like the body skin cluster, we had a face skin cluster. If animation didn't want the face, they could toggle it off and everything. It was really sweet. Big brain time. It's just like, these are just like little things you don't normally think about, because like, this is what happens when, you know, when you add a new deformer on top of a mesh that already has deformers. This is like what automatically happens. Like, it automatically inserts it into the stack, where like if I was to add like a delta mush, see, it like chains it all together, where the output geometry is like to a shape, and then that goes into the delta mush, and then that's what finally actually like is the in mesh, you know, the output geometry mesh from the delta mush is now plugged into the in mesh of that pcube2 shape. So like whenever you add deformers to something that already has deformers, this sort of chaining process automatically happens. There's just no way for you to create that chaining process automatically by doing, like, bind another skin cluster, because Maya's assuming, like, no, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't want to have 2 skin clusters on a mesh. And we're like, ah ha ha ha. Yeah, Jesse's right. Big brain time. Outsmarted Autodesk Maya. Yeah, so I might even do like a little tutorial or something just to upload to my YouTube or something. I mean, this VOD is going to be up on my YouTube in like a week or 2. This will be also on my Twitch if you guys want to watch it. Like, I think they stay up for 2 weeks before they get taken down. And that's normally when I upload them to my YouTube. So, yeah, that's where you go if you want to take a look through. Yeah, Delta Mush as well. Actually, you know, we're talking about baking deformers. Like, Maya does actually have capacity to bake deformers as well. I don't know if it works very well, but you've got bake deformation to skin weights here. I think some of my friends have used that to varying levels of success on, like, crowd rigs, when they just did very basic skinning, a skinning transfer. It was like an automated process where they had like 200 characters they had to like put into crowd rigs, so they didn't have time to like manually check the skin weights and everything. They just sort of like transferred a skin cluster, ran a Delta Mush on top, and then used the bake deformations to skin weights, so the Delta Mush got applied to the skinning instead. So I don't know how well that worked. It worked enough, so like that's kind of talking about that ML deformer and things as well. There's ways of doing some of that stuff in Maya, just I couldn't personally attest to how good or bad it is. Should we dare try it? I don't even know where to begin. What does this do? Cube. Yeah, because there's all the stuff that Autodesk like adds in that people don't use. They sort of forget about, because you're always normally stuck a few versions behind. And when you finally update, all of this stuff is never really, you kind of forget about it. So let's see, we do these. How does that look? Kind of rough. In fact, we could make that look even rougher. Cool, okay. Oh man, I really should have like zeroed these out before I started doing all this shit. Poop. 555. Okay. Do that. Deform Delta Mush. So that smooths it all out. So if I go deform bake deformations to skin cluster. Ooh. Source, mesh, skeleton, number of influences. Oh boy, why did I want to why did I want to test this on stream? I have no idea what this does. So you like copy it? Interesting. Skeleton, guess it has to be in a skeleton. Okay, duplicate P cube 2. Let's go 4, 5, 6. Ooh. Well, that's not very handy, is it? Oh, okay. Let's do that. Number of influences, 3. Let's see if this does anything. Failed to calculate the weight points. Well, there you go. Yeah, that didn't even do anything. Yeah, okay, I'm going to have to actually read the documentation on that shit. But it's good to know that stuff is there. Because Delta Mush can actually be kind of useful sometimes. In fact, Delta Mesh is very useful. It's just not very utilized when you're working on game rigs, obviously. Yeah, what's the time? Ooh, it's getting a bit up there, folks. I may have to Christian Bale very soon. Anything else? What else have I done recently? All the saving to stack and everything. Yeah, that's probably the most interesting thing. Is how to chain skin clusters. Yeah, actually it's nearly 11:30, so I probably should go off to bed. So just a short stream tonight, folks. Hope you got a little bit of interesting information out of it. I will probably do a stream same time-ish next week. Oh man, I think more people are actually starting to roll in now, just when I'm about to leave. That's terrible. Yeah, same time next week. Once my teaching sort of eases up a bit, I might be able to go back to doing some later streams. It's just by the time I get here, I'm just kind of like struggling for figuring out things to do. Because I haven't really prepared anything or whatnot beforehand. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. And I'll probably see you next week. I can send us out on this.
Then less Geo.
Catch you next week, guys. Have a good one.